Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is the 1884 Cleveland Blues MLB baseball season. Again, the Blues were playing in the National League, the senior circuit, and again they were playing home games at Kennard Street Park here in Cleveland. And in 1884, things really fell apart. It was a disastrous year. It seemed like everything went wrong. The team finished in 7th place with a record of 35-77. So that's 42 games under 500. A winning percentage of .312, which is really pretty bad, and 49 games out of first. The first place team that year was the Providence Grays, who had a tremendous record. They were 84-28, winning percentage of .750. Providence, Rhode Island. So this was their glory year because the Grays went out of business sometime later. And also this is the year that Old Hoss Radbourne had won 59 games for the Providence Grays. Second place team was the Boston Bean Eaters, who were 73-38, 10.5 games out of first. Third place team, the Buffalo Bisons, 64-47. Fourth place, the New York Gothams, 62-50. Fifth place, the Chicago White Stockings, also 62-50. Sixth place, the Philadelphia Quakers, 39-73. Seventh place, the Cleveland Blues, 35-77. And in eighth and last place, the Detroit Wolverines, who were 28-84. After the season, the team was purchased by Charles Byrne for $10,000, and he shut the team down. This was the end of the line for this franchise. Now, this fellow Charles Byrne, he owned another baseball team, the Brooklyn Grays, and the reason he bought the Cleveland Blues was to get the best players from the team and add them to his Brooklyn team. So that was his intention. He didn't. And so, since the team was so weak, then he decided they were no longer tenable. So they ceased operating. Charles Byrne was the founder of the team that became the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was a New York realtor. So after 1884, there was no professional baseball in Cleveland, no MLB baseball until 1887. So for the next 2 years, 1885 and 1886, there was no team. No pro team in Cleveland. Now, actually what Charles Byrne did was just the last of a series of unfortunate events that had happened with the team. Jim McCormick, Jack Glasscock, and Fatty Briati left the team in August. They were lured by big money offers from the Cincinnati team in a rival league, the Union Association. So we lost 3 of the star players in August. And actually, before the season, Fred Dunlap and Orator Schaefer had jumped to St. Louis in the American Association. So there were these 3 leagues, and the players were trying to better themselves and be paid more money. So we lost these players to rival teams and rival leagues, and so that was the story. Now, in 1870, we're going to back up a little bit, 42% of the population in Cleveland was foreign-born, and they were from countries they were from included Germany, Ireland, Poland, Russia. There were Jewish people from all over Europe, Hungary, the Czech Republic, Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, Italy, and Greece. So all these immigrants in Cleveland. And baseball was really unifying. This was happening all over the country. And it was the road to opportunity for immigrant groups, for poor guys, and help people become American. They were playing this common game, this common sport, and developed a love of that sport. The first World Series was played in 1884. The National League champions, the Providence Grays, played the American Association champions, New York Metropolitans. And the Grays won that World Series 3-0. All 3 games were played at the Polo Grounds in New York City because I guess they could draw more fans. So the Providence Grays, some year for that team. Now the Blues in 1884 had a new manager, Charlie Hackett, was our manager, and he was born in Lee, Massachusetts. Hackett died in Holyoke, Massachusetts in 1898, age 42 or 43. He was the manager of the Cleveland Blues and the Brooklyn Grays between 1884 and 1885, so a brief managerial career. 150 games. He won 50 games as a manager, lost 99, and had a winning percentage of .336, so not that great. Doc Bouchon was back as our catcher. He hit .236, had 6 doubles, 1 triple, 0 home runs, and 10 RBIs. Bill Phillips was back at first base. Phillips had a good year, hit .276, 25 doubles, 12 triples, 3 home runs, and 46 RBIs. Really good year for Bill Phillips. We had a new second baseman, Germany Smith. Smith hit .254, 14 doubles, 4 triples, 4 home runs, and 26 RBIs. Germany Smith was mostly a shortstop in his career. He was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he died in Altoona, Pennsylvania in 1927 at age 64. The teams he played for included the Altoona Mountain City, Cleveland Blues, Brooklyn Grays, Brooklyn Bridegrooms, Cincinnati Reds, and St. Louis Browns between 1884 and 1898. His career average was .243 with 1,592 hits, so he had some career. He scored 907 runs. After the 1884 season, Smith and 6 other players were sold by the team to the Brooklyn Bridegrooms for $4,000. We talked about this earlier, so there was a financial aspect to it. Before the team was closed, in 1885, on June 17th, Smith made 7 errors in a game on purpose. The team decided to punish the new pitcher, who he called himself Phenomenal Smith. He said he was so good that he didn't need teammates. And Smith lost that game 18-5. All the runs were unearned. In 1886, Germany Smith led the American Association in fielding average. And from 1891 to 1894, he led shortstops with assists. In 1899 to 1900, he was in the minors with the Minneapolis Millers. And he died at age 64 from injuries. He was struck by an automobile, and so that led to his early demise. Germany Smith. Jack Glasscock was our shortstop. Glasscock hit, before he left, he hit .249, 4 doubles, 4 triples, 1 home run, and 22 RBIs. Mike Muldoon was the third baseman again. He hit .239, 16 doubles, 6 triples, 2 home runs, and 34 RBIs. Pete Hoteling again was in the outfield, hit .243, 16 doubles, 6 triples, 3 home runs, and 27 RBIs. New outfielder was Willie Murphy. Murphy hit .226, 3 doubles, 3 triples, 1 home run, and 9 RBIs. Murphy was from Springfield, Massachusetts, I believe, and born in 1864. His death information is not known. He played for the Cleveland Blues and the Washington Nationals in 1884, so that was the brief career. 47 games, 189 at-bats, and 48 hits. Willie Murphy. Jake Evans was back in the outfield. Evans hit .259, 18 doubles, 3 triples, a home run, and 38 RBIs. Now the bench players included a new guy, Sam Moffett, who hit .184, 12 doubles, 2 triples, 0 home runs, 15 RBIs. Now Moffett was primarily a pitcher. His record in 1884 was 3-19. Wow, not so great. 3.87 ERA, 22 starts, and 21 complete games. Moffett was an outfielder pitcher from Wheeling, West Virginia. He died in Butte, Montana in 1907 at age 50. Played for the Cleveland Blues and Indianapolis Hoosiers between 1884 and 1888. So this was his rookie year. For his career, he played in 88 games, had a batting average of .169, and as a pitcher, he was 6-29. His brother Joe was also an MLB player for the Blues. For the Blues, he was the third starting pitcher. All 3 of his victories in 1884 were in 1 week, from August 11th to 18th, and he had a .136 winning percentage as a rookie. That's the fifth lowest in MLB history. In 1885, he got involved in a mining venture in Montana with his 2 brothers. And that year they extracted $200,000 in gold and silver from the mines. In 1889, it was reported he cleared $40,000 in Montana and Butte. So he had a lot of success in the mining business. Sam Moffett, very good. Fatty Briati was back before he left, hit 169, 6 doubles, 0 triples, 1 home run, 12 RBIs in 43 games. George Pinckney was a new guy. Pinckney hit 313, 9 doubles, 0 triples, 0 home runs, 16 RBIs in 36 games. Pinckney was a third baseman from Orange Prairie, Illinois. He died in Peoria, Illinois in 1926 at age 67. Pinckney played for the Cleveland Blues, Brooklyn Grays, Brooklyn Bridegrooms, St. Louis Browns, and Louisville Colonels from 1884 to 1893. So this was his rookie year. He hit 263 for his career, 1,212 hits, very good, 874 runs. He won 2 titles with the Brooklyn Bridegrooms in 1889 and 1890. In 1888, he led the league in games, runs, and times on base and outs. When he retired, he had the MLB record for consecutive games played, 577, which was, of course, later broken, became very famous under Lou Gehrig, and later Cal Ripken Jr. George Pinckney. Ernie Birch was a new guy. Birch hit 210, 4 doubles, 0 home runs, 0 triples, 0 home runs, 7 RBIs in 32 games. Birch was from DeKalb County, Illinois. He was an outfielder. He died in Guthrie, Oklahoma in 1892 at age 36. Died young. Played for the Cleveland Blues and Brooklyn Grays between 1884 and 1887, so this was his rookie year. For his career, he hit 260, scored 134 runs, and had 105 RBIs. Ernie Birch. Joe Ardner was a new guy. Ardner hit 174, 1 double, 1 triple, 0 home runs, 4 RBIs in 26 games. Ardner was primarily a second baseman. They called him Old Haas. He was from Mount Vernon, Ohio. He died here in Cleveland in 1935 at age 77. Played for the Cleveland Blues in 1884, the Cleveland Spiders in 1890. And his career average was 212, 88 hits, 39 RBIs, and he's buried in the Woodland Cemetery in Cleveland, Ohio, here in Cleveland. Joe Ardner. Mike Moynihan was back. Moynihan hit 289, 2 doubles, a triple, 0 home runs, 6 RBIs in 12 games. Guerdon Whiteley was a new guy. He hit 147, 5 hits, 34 at-bats in 8 games. Whiteley was an outfielder from Hopkinton, Rhode Island. He died in Cranston, Rhode Island in 1925 at age 66. Whiteley played for the Cleveland Blues and Boston Beaneaters between 1884 and 1885, so this was his rookie year. For his career, he played in 41 games, had 169 at-bats, 30 hits, an average of 178, and he played in the minor leagues until 1892. Guerdon Whiteley. Jerry Moore was a new guy. Hit 200, 6 hits, 30 at-bats, 10 RBIs in 9 games. Moore was a catcher from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. He died in Wayne, Michigan in 1890 at age 35. He played for the Altoona Mountain City, the Cleveland Blues, and Detroit Wolverines between 1884 and 1885. Career average was 263 with 1 home run and 10 RBIs. Jerry Moore. George Streif was back at 241, 7 hits, 2 doubles in 8 games. George Fisher was a new guy. Fisher hit 125, 3 hits, 24 at-bats in 6 games. Fisher was a utility player from Wilmington, Delaware. He died in Oakland, California in 1937 at age 81. Played for the Cleveland Blues and Washington Quicksteps in 1884, so a brief career. Career average was .094, 5 hits, 53 at-bats. He played the second base and center field. George Fisher. Pitt Gilman was a new guy, hit 100, 1 hit, 10 at-bats in 2 games. Gilman was an outfielder from LaPorte, Ohio. He died in Elyria, Ohio in 1950 at age 86. And he played for the Cleveland Blues in 1884, so he had a cup of coffee in the MLB. Pitt Gilman. Bill Smith was a new guy, had a batting average of .0000 hits, 3 at-bats in 1 game. Smith was an outfielder from Cleveland, Ohio. He died in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, 1886, age 21. So his career was just with the Cleveland Blues in 1884, very brief. He died in a diving accident, broke his back. He was out swimming and he dived and had a tragic, died young. Bill Smith, God bless him. Now the pitching staff, John Harkins was our ace pitcher. Harkins batted .205, 4 doubles, 3 triples, 20 RBIs in 61 games. As a pitcher, Harkins' record was 12-32 with an ERA of 3.68, 45 starts, 42 complete games, and 3 shutouts. Harkins was from New Brunswick, New Jersey. He died in New Brunswick in 1940 at age 81. Played for the Cleveland Blues, Brooklyn Grays, and Baltimore Orioles between 1884 and 1888. His career record was 51-83 with a 4.09 ERA, 489 strikeouts. They called him Pa. Now, he went to Rutgers University and studied chemistry, and then he became at Yale University. He became the baseball coach there. He coached Amos Alonzo Stagg, who was a future college football coach at the University of Chicago. Harkins operated a cafe for many years and was an alderman, John Harkins. Of course, Jim McCormick was, as we said, he left during the year. He was our longtime ace pitcher. McCormick hit .263 as a hitter, 5 doubles, 4 triples, 0 home runs, 23 RBIs. His record as a pitcher was 19-22 with a 2.86 ERA, 41 starts, 39 complete games, and 3 shutouts. John Henry was a new pitcher. Henry, as a batter, hit .154, 4 hits, 26 at-bats in 9 games. As a pitcher, Henry went 1-4 with a 3.64 ERA, 5 starts, 5 complete games, and a shutout. Henry was an outfielder pitcher from Springfield, Massachusetts. He died in Hartford, Connecticut in 1939 at age 75. Henry played for the Cleveland Blues, Baltimore Orioles, Washington Nationals, and New York Giants between 1884 and 1890. His batting average for his career was .243, 0 home runs, 19 RBIs. As a pitcher, his record was 4-14 with a 4.09 ERA in 18 starts. And finally, Jack Glasscock, who was our shortstop, he pitched in 2 games, had no decisions, and an ERA of 5.40, and he pitched 5 games. In 1884, my great-grandfather, Frank Zook, was 14 years old, living in an orphanage in Xenia, Ohio. His father, my great-great-grandfather, had died young. Died after he'd been in the Civil War and died of dysentery after the war. Anyway, so this Frank Zook, my great-grandfather, was 14 years old in 1884, and Xenia is closer to Cincinnati, so I imagine he was a fan of the Cincinnati Reds as a boy, but aware of the Cleveland Blues. His sister actually moved to Cleveland, and so I like to think of him, being aware of the team we're talking about here, the 1884 Cleveland Blues, because they were my generation, great grandparents. They would have known about this team, and when they were kids. So God bless everyone. God bless the guys who played for the 1884 Cleveland Blues and everyone else associated with the team, including the fans, especially the Civil War veterans. Captains of the Cuyahoga, lovers of Lake Erie Terminal Tower Power, fans of the Free Stamp statue and the Fountain of Eternal Life. Tribe Browns and Cavs rule Cleveland, City of Champions. It's been 70 years since 1948. This is our year. We're a strong contender. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You might consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.